That's wishful thinking.
It's Friday morning once again. Time for Unrelenting, episode number 110. I am Darren. He's Gene. What is this show all about? People have been asking, Gene, on the X, what's this show all about?
Yeah. Seinfeld.
There's no good answer.
Seinfeld.
Could you describe the show? Yes. Seinfeld is the shorthand.
I did describe it. I said Seinfeld.
It's the shorthand version, which then I had to put the disclaimer for Jerry that we're not claiming that we are related to Seinfeld, have ever seen Seinfeld, that he's ever seen our show, heard our show, knows of our show. He might like it because it is his show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a show about nothing. It's a show about everything. As I described it then, it's kind of like just you and I talking on the phone.
Which is literally how this started.
And then people are listening.
Yeah.
Isn't that how some of the
kind of
best
creepy,
shows,
isn't it?
Yeah. Like, why are you fuckers listening?
Well, thankfully, I don't think they are.
No, nobody at all.
Mm-mm.
Makes it a lot easier to talk about those tough subjects. Health.
Speaking of subjects, I had some events that were somewhat similar to your events.
Ooh.
Yes.
Which events are we speaking of?
I didn't have water in the house for a couple days.
Oh, the water went out entire. How does that even happen?
Well, it's when I go out to the water main and shut it off.
Why were you doing work, or you just wanted to see if you could live in an apocalyptic society?
Well, of all the people that I know, I am probably the most prepared to live apocalyptically without water.
Yeah, you've got 8,000 gallons in the basement stored.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they're all in 8-ounce containers. So that makes it more difficult to take a shower.
Right. Yeah, it's hard. You got to it's like using a Dixie cup and you put that over your head, then another Dixie cup.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Luckily, you don't have any hair though. So it's, you don't have to worry about getting the shampoo out of there.
Yeah. I think I have more hair in my beard than most men have in their whole body.
True.
So yeah, I was taking a shower a few days ago and then I turned the knob to turn the water off. Nothing happened. So I pushed a little harder and the knob did a full 360. Water was still on. Then I realized, it broke.
Yeah, that's not good when the water won't stop.
So, and it wasn't, just cold water. Obviously, I was taking a shower. So it was hot water.
You're emptying out when you don't have one of those brand new fangled, not brand new, but
I do not have a continuous hot water heater now. And so I saw my neighbor was getting some air conditioning work done. So I went over and snagged one of his air conditioning guys to, hey, you got tools, right?
Allegedly.
You know anything about plumbing? He's like, no, we that's a whole different thing. We don't do plumbing. They don't do AC.
Which is, I would think most of them are like that. But the other day I saw a truck that was doing both. Yes. But it was a company that did both. And I was like, that's really weird.
That is extra weird. I remember a whole series of episodes on a wonderful show called Community that dealt with one of the characters trying to make a decision whether he's going to go to plumbing school or air conditioning school. And so he's getting recruited by both schools, and they're talking about all the nasty shit of the other school.
So they were shit talking each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But because they're trying to, it's like recruiting major college athlete kind of thing.
Right.
So they're trying to show how much better their school and their profession was compared to the other one. Like, you don't want to be wearing pants where you can see the crack of your ass, do you? Why would you want to be a plumber? That kind of thing.
Sounds like an interesting show.
Well worth it. Oh my God, you've never watched Community?
Never heard of it.
Holy shit. Wow. Okay. Add that to your list of things that you haven't done but should have?
Not a big fan of Joel McHale.
What else has he done?
Well, that's a good question, isn't it? He's in
Is
something now called like Animal Control or something like that.
No.
He was in a show briefly where he was working for some kind of online outdoorsy magazine kind of thing.
Oh, that was a good show. I like that one because while that show was on, I literally had his job in a group that show is based around me.
Except you aren't as tall as Joel McHale.
Well, the height has nothing to do with character.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And I may not be as tall, but I'm certainly as good looking.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're not going to burst your bubble. It's too early in the morning for that.
Yeah, let me just pop open another can of coffee here. Hang on.
Yeah, I know nothing about the nice can of coffee. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, how do you drink coffee?
Well, you don't have water, so I guess it's the only way you can get your coffee.
You get it in cans from Starbucks.
The girl that played Britta was a strange-looking chick. Although I liked Annie.
I love Britta.
Really, you were over Britta over Annie?
Oh, no. Annie's way hotter. But Britta has those big doughy eyes, and she's like...
Doughy as in the animal dough.
Yeah, the animal.
You're making
animal
pizza
dough.
with.
Just big dough eyes. And she was extremely stereotypical of the Austin college girls that I've dated.
You could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Abed was the best character, though.
Abed was a weird character.
It was the best character. Well, and Chevy Chase stole anything that he ever was around. So,
yeah, he's just a grumpy old man.
And yes, I've seen the series multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Well, you should definitely start watching it, though.
Yes, I'll watch it for a third time or fourth time or whatever it is.
But it's you do remember then the episode that I'm referring to?
Yeah, it was John Goodman that came in. He was the one running the air conditioning school. Yeah. Uh-huh. And I love that they walk into an empty room and Goodman says, you know how they say room temperature when referring to room temperature? Well, this is the room. It's very Illuminati-ish.
It's very Illuminati, yeah. Totally.
Good coffee. What brand are we? Is this another one where you're going to give a link and you're like, well,
Starbucks espresso in a can.
Starbucks espresso in a can.
Yeah. There's no X in espresso, but yeah.
Espresso.
God, no.
Espresso Love.
Uh-huh.
It's a great song by Dire Straits, Espresso Love.
Yeah, I'm not going to be a happy camper tomorrow when I started having caffeine withdrawal, though, because I've been pounding these things down lately since my water stopped working. So.
Okay, I get this. It's kind of like in the olden days, they couldn't drink water, so they drank beer and they were drunk all the time. So
you drink whiskey more than beer.
Your thing is you're drinking caffeinated beverages when you're thirsty now, which actually makes you more thirsty. So then you have another one.
I think I'm kind of trying to minimize it. I think I'm doing an 8-pack a day of these things.
Of espressos, though.
Yeah.
Which there is how many milligrams of caffeine in one of those little cans?
About 3 times more than a cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing, like 150 or somewhere in there. They're not quite as bad as pounding Monster energy drinks or something. But
no, God, like an 8-pack of Monster would kill you.
Yes, literally. So don't do that, kids. Caffeine in massive amounts is bad for you. That's why it's always interesting when things
I can tell you exactly how much of it will kill you because I watched a TV episode on this or YouTube.
Yeah, I was going to say this wasn't television. This was YouTube, no. I guarantee.
5 grams of caffeine will literally kill you. It will cut off the blood supply to your brain.
5 grams and how many? So it's what
a milligram is 1,000th of a gram.
So 1,000 milligrams is a gram.
Yeah, so 5,000 milligrams,
which is not impossible to think somebody would.
You can buy caffeine right now on eBay.
Yeah,
eBay on Amazon.
Yes,
in powdered form.
I remember when no dose was a big thing.
Don't snort caffeine, kids. I know it works, but don't do it.
Cocaine is way safer. This is not medical advice. Both will probably make your heart explode. I don't know which one will do it first. Not sure.
Well, the cocaine may make your heart explode, especially if you're a fat comedian. The caffeine will just cut off the blood supply to your brain for everyone.
Neither way, not a good idea. Either way,
No.
not a good idea.
Not a good thing. So, yeah. So then, I had to turn the water main off to the whole house. When the air conditioning guys basically said, yeah, looks like it's broken.
We can't turn this off.
Like, yep.
Well, how do I
right.
stop the water? I mean, sometimes you have a secondary stop inside going to, if you have multiple levels, sometimes you have the ability to shut that off so you can.
Yeah. Well, if I have one of those, I didn't find it. So I just shut off the whole house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually you have them right by, you have shutoffs by your toilets, you have shutoffs by your sinks, but really not for
your shower.
Not for the shower. Sorry. Which also means it could be I guess you could most likely replace the defective part without having to, break any tile or destroy the whole bathroom. But who knows? I mean, you might get unlucky.
Yeah. No, I had a plumber come out yesterday.
And he couldn't just swap something in there?
He did. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He took, apparently you can take the faucet thing or the knob thingy apart from the front. And then when the water's off, you can pull out, they call it a cartridge, which is basically the valve. And you can yank it out and replace it with a new one without having to even solder anything.
Well, that's a beautiful thing. And then you'll have water.
Yeah, exactly. So, and he also did it proactively for the other shower, just in case.
Because you're like, these are both the same age. They fail at a certain
house
point.
Is 13 years old, so yeah.
And all this stuff is now built to fail. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, and certainly the last of the warranties expired at 10 years.
Right.
So everything now is prone to start failing.
Got to start replacing everything, and nobody stays ahead of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when it happens, you're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Although you have to know the difference between what's going on and what part you need to replace and understand, which most people don't. When the shower here started, when you went, and it was a bathtub / shower, and more of the water was coming out of the spigot rather than through the shower head. And the wife originally thought you had to replace the thing where you adjust the water, where you turn it on and off. And I'm like,
right.
No. It's very simple for, I think, all of them, if not a vast majority, is that the little spigot thing.
Yeah.
That when you pull that up, it just literally blocks the water and then sends it back up another pipe.
It does. Yeah.
So it's
the shower is always open, but gravity works to keep the water flowing out of the main spigot unless you block it.
Right. And it's like, no, you just need to replace this little, I was surprised those things are now like $50 just for the little cheap screw on.
Oh my God.
It's horrible what everything's costing now, but it was a much easier fix. So you just, it's like you just twist it off, twist the new one on. Everything's good. Unless you have other problems like you did where the water won't shut off. Did you put that water to good use? Did you just start taking buckets and filling them up and saving that water for the apocalypse?
Well, I usually have one bathtub full of water for emergencies. In the north wing, and then I keep the rest of them empty for other purposes.
How many wings are in the homestead there?
Well, it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about my house, but the bottom line is, I had to deal with a apocalyptic situation, and it was pretty good.
And you have to drink too much caffeine.
Well, I did switch from drinking, water to drinking canned coffee.
When did you run out of the iced tea? This was probably the darkest hour.
Yeah, I ran out of the. Well, no, I still have iced tea. It's just I felt my obligation to drink caffeine for some reason.
Well, you should have at least a little caffeine every day.
Not really.
If I don't,
I usually don't. Honestly, I only buy caffeine randomly. And
except for the iced tea.
Well, but that's part of the emergency supply.
Okay.
Oh, no. Sorry. Iced tea, I drink all the time. The cans of coffee are the emergency supply.
Yeah. Right.
But the thing is, I think I drank a month's worth of canned coffee in 3 days, which can't be good. Also ate all of the dessert food rations that I had.
This is where you started with the food rations.
Yeah, it seemed like dessert was going to be the most tasty portion.
Right. You want to keep your keep your sugar levels sky high when having massive amounts of caffeine.
Right?
It's the only safe way to balance those things out.
I know. It's almost like doing Coke at that point would just be calming.
Yes.
But don't do Coke, kids. I don't do Coke on any regular basis. It's not good for you.
Like, I want to hear you walk into your doctor's office and go, I'm going to do one or the other, sugar and caffeine in massive quantities, or just a little Coke. Which
do you recommend?
Yeah. Which one's going to keep me
like,
going?
well, how pure is the Coke?
Right. That's very important.
It is, because usually it's not the Coke that kills you. It's all the additives.
Well, that's what
you can't get good organic cocaine these days. It's really hard to get.
Well, any drugs that you're getting from questionable sources are very likely to be laced with something, which is why the death numbers have gone up. It's not because people are necessarily doing more drugs now, but the stuff that they're buying, I think I'm just buying me some Oxy, man, or I'm buying some Vicodin. And it turns out it's got a little bit of, fentanyl or something mixed into it.
Yeah, and fentanyl is a legitimate drug that's prescribed to people, but it's extremely addictive.
And it's a dosage issue again too.
Yeah, dosage, but also the purity is that's a big problem with it, because fentanyl in small quantities is still addictive, even if it's just being used to treat depression and stuff. But in, quantities where the person doing the drug is also measuring it, that's where you're asking to get fucked over.
Yeah, you don't want to be in an intoxicated state when you're deciding the dose that you need.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when people do the gummies, and take one and wait 5 seconds. Don't feel anything yet. Take another. Wait 5 seconds. Not feel anything yet.
Nope.
And by the time they all hit together, they're like, whoa. And no, Gene's water is on now. He's just waiting for a replacement part. But of course, when doing the replacement part, no beret, then you've got to turn the water off again. People are worried that you don't have water now.
Well, I have 8,000 gallons of water, but it's part of the emergency supply.
He does not want to dip into the emergency supply. Much better.
That's why I've been drinking coffee instead.
And where did you get all of these Starbucks coffee? Did somebody accidentally deliver them to your house like they usually deliver your groceries to somebody else's house?
No, I have this is part of my prepper stockpile is Starbucks cans.
A lot of people don't know that you once did some work for Starbucks and they paid you in cans of espresso.
I wish, man. I've actually never had Starbucks as a client. I've had a lot of other companies, but never been hired by Starbucks. Man, I had the wildest dream this morning. I dreamt that I was working for Elon Musk.
Oh, now this is more than a dream you have. This is a dream you've had for a long time.
It is a dream I've had for a long time. That's true. And I was working in a very special secret group for Elon Musk. And it was a very vivid dream. Even after waking up, I can visualize it and describe all the details. But one of the things I did have a chance to ask him is, how much time does he still find for video games?
And he said 28 hours a day.
No. He said 3 hours a week, which I think is an interesting answer because I suspect that's probably true.
You do realize from where you live that it's quite possible you are doing work for Elon Musk. I may have been
sleepwalking into Elon's house and, dreaming while I was walking around. That's true. We don't live that far apart. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm I could walk to the Tesla factory from here while I'm sleeping as well. But maybe that's where it was.
They could be wiping your memory after your day of work.
I know, right?
You show
it's like,
up.
Hey. Man, do I even work? I don't know. It feels like I just kind of wake up every morning and it's about 5 p.m.
It's a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was supposed to mention that part to you.
Whoops.
Musk Team X, if you can get to Gene's house, he's going to need a double dose
of memory eraser.
Yeah, the caffeine's interfering. It's helping him remember.
Yeah. But yeah, it was wild. I remember the projects we were working on. The building was kind of a warehouse with another building inside the warehouse.
Ooh, like double secret probation kind of thing.
Yeah. And there was electromagnetic and audio noise being projected between the two buildings to completely isolate the internal structure. That's where all the really interesting stuff was going on.
The double top secret stuff.
Which I can't talk about because I signed an NDA in my dream.
In your dream, right. It's you don't want to accidentally leak some of Elon Musk's secrets, even if it was in a dream.
Yes. I don't think that playing video games for 3 hours a week is necessarily covered by the NDA, but some of the details of what actually I was working on probably are, so I can't go into it.
I think you need more caffeine, Gene.
Is that what I need?
I think is exactly what you need. You've had a traumatic experience. Your shower stopped working. Well, it stopped working by refusing to stop working, which is...
Right. So I had to turn it off manually. Yeah.
Because any other kind of problem, you're like, well, I'll just work around it for a while. I'll eventually fix it. When the water's running, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and it's not, if it was cold water, then I could kind of do what you described, which is, well, I'll go water the plants. I'll go use it for other purposes, right?
I'll recycle it.
I mean, what are you going to do with hot water? Because that uses not just water, it uses natural gas because it's heating the water.
Oh, you are one of those evil people using gas to heat your water?
Oh, I wouldn't be caught dead with an electric stove, man. Gas
they're
is where
horrible.
it's at.
That's where they're going to start forcing people into. That much is obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Bemrose says you can do lots of dishes with hot water, but I mean, you'd have to have party after party after party to make that many dishes.
I could, or I could just push a button on my dishwasher to do that.
Yeah, mine's running right now. Gene really doesn't let people into his home, though. It's not, I mean, some go in, but a lot never are seen again.
There's really no reason to go into the home. Yeah, I've kind of realized that JCD had the right idea all along.
Never leave the house.
Well, never leave the house and never let anybody in the house.
Yeah, everybody, even Adam, I want to see your studio.
Nope.
Not going to
happen.
It's where the magic happens.
Once the chaise lounge is positioned correctly with a mic arm boom in front of it, that's all that she wrote. You don't get to see anymore.
You do not want to let out the magic.
Mm-mm. So yeah, that's cool. I've got a buddy in town right now that came in to watch the end of the world special.
Right. When the lights go out on my birthday.
When the lights go out. Exactly. And so he flew in last night.
How many people are coming in? I know even my mom's best friend who lives across the street, her and her son, who also is born on April 8th. So, but he is in his, way younger than I am. But they're flying into Texas, and there's how many people are coming into Texas just to watch this? I can tell
you that Fredericksburg, where Adam lives, which is a city of, I think, around 40,000 people or something.
Yeah, 30, I don't even think it's that big.
Yeah, there's 100,000 people coming there specifically.
This is perfectly in the line of what is going to be. That's not luck.
It's right in that line, which is why I made my reservation at Adam's house 6 months ago.
Now, when the eclipse hits, is that the exact time that all of the cicadas are going to start emerging?
The birds will start falling out of the sky. The cicadas will be a foot deep in the streets. The tidal waves will cover most of the planet. It's going to be an interesting experience.
I don't remember exactly what happened during the last cicada thing. I remember hearing about cicadas. I remember hearing the noise.
Yeah.
Because my parents had, at the time, there were like woods like right behind them that were eventually knocked down, of course, because you had to build things. So it was quite loud, but I don't remember, like the house being covered with them. I don't remember like walking outside and all of a sudden having 5 cicadas on you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember any of that.
They're not going to be on you. They're going to be either on the trees or on the ground.
So they're going to be like just minding their own business. They're loud.
Mostly looking for somebody to fuck.
Well, which aren't we all?
Well,
they just have a much bigger time.
They've been
crunch.
waiting for a while.
Yeah, they're waiting a while.
8 years.
And they got like 2 weeks or something to be like.
Exactly. 2 weeks and you're dead.
Can you imagine that?
Because I think they stop eating as soon as they climb out or something.
It's like, here you go. You haven't gotten laid in 16 years. And now you have 2 weeks to get it out of your system. And then you're dead.
Luckily, everybody's up for it.
Oh, yes. Because everybody's in the same exact situation.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're kind of cool. I mean, they're basically just a different relative of a grasshopper.
Yeah, they do have that look.
Yeah.
It's just weird for any species that goes that long just in hibernation, only to then somehow all extract themselves at the same time.
I think it was probably through natural selection in forest fires.
That you needed
only
that.
the lazy versions of them that were asleep underground got to survive the forest fire, and everybody else gets wiped out. And so after a while, the only version of that animal you have left is one that sleeps all the time.
True. Or plays video games in their home and refuses to come out.
For 3 hours a week.
Right. That's kind of like doing the same thing. You're just minding your own business.
Yeah. Getting your food delivered.
But I didn't realize that there were some very magic. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's where the Earth is positioned right at the right time.
Yeah. The moon is exactly between the Earth and the sun. Like you could draw a straight line through them.
And for a beautiful amount of, how many minutes is this thing going to last?
I think it's 20 minutes.
I could see back in olden days, especially if you were one of these smart folks who was able to study this and understand the astronomy. Can you imagine telling people like, I am going to get you in 3 days, the sun will be extinguished.
I've been saying that for a while.
And then it happened. Well, see, now people understand why it's happening. Back then, they just thought it was some kind of black magic going on.
It is black magic.
Controlling the heavens and the earth.
Well, it's black magic because it doesn't happen every month. Because you'd think it should.
You're like, how does this not just line up?
Because the moon goes around the earth goes around the sun. So therefore, once a month, the moon ought to be between the earth and the sun.
Not a perfect circle.
Nope, definitely not.
A lot of weird things happen.
Lots of black magic.
People don't want to understand that when the sun is more active, it gets warmer here. Or when the sun is closer to the earth, it gets warmer here. That's why you find a halogen bulb if you can, kids. I know it's getting harder. If not, just use an old incandescent 100 watt, although that's getting hard to find.
Yeah.
And then you just hold somebody's hand and you continue to move it closer to the bulb. Now, if it's a 100 watt bulb, you could get to within like a millimeter and they're not going to scream. It'll just be really warm.
No, you'd scream at a millimeter. If it's 100 watt halogen?
No, not the halogen. I'm just saying a regular 100
regular
watt
bulb, I'd say you can get to about maybe half an inch.
Now, the halogens, you're within an inch and you're like, ah.
Dude, you're within a foot of a halogen. Your hand is sweating like it's,
I know,
cooking.
I used to love the halogen lamp I had in the home office because in the winter.
Mine was 600 watt.
Mine was, 3 or 6 is what the one I had was.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And even the 300s put off more heat than you can imagine.
Yeah, they're like half heat, half light.
Which in the winter, it was great because I didn't need to heat the rest of the house when, the white.
And I had one of those that was a halogen bulb like that was in a lamp that stood on the floor and it like faced up.
Yeah, that's what I had, the torch lamp.
Yeah, the torch lamp. Yeah. And it like when you crank that to full brightness, the room was like bright white.
I still have that in the basement, which also takes the need for having a heater down there if it gets
probably
cool.
$1 an hour to keep that running at full power.
Yeah, probably 300 watts. It's not that much, but
no, 300 is not that much. My computer power supply is 1,000.
In the troll room's like light bulb talk. It's like, this is what the show's all about.
Hey, man, are you not paying attention? This is literally what the show's about. Light bulb talk.
They're talking about light bulbs again.
And plumbing.
Light bulbs, plumbing, the essentials of life. It was great when you needed the heat. Now, when you didn't need the heat, when the summer rolled around, I became a bigger fan of darker in the office because that just heated it up way too much. But that's, I mean, I hate the compact fluorescents, was never using those. Have never put a compact fluorescent bulb in. Once I tried
those.
I know you're weird.
Well, they just never die. Those are the longest, like they outlive LED bulbs. They're the longest running bulbs out there. They're 100-year lifespan.
But there's mercury inside them, so when they break,
so what?
You're poisoning the whole world, Gene.
Dude, I'm a kid of the 70s. I was drinking mercury. You break apart a thermometer and you play with it, and then
you lick your fingers,
and then you clean your fingers by licking them. It's like, I swear to God, the evolution's been running backwards. People are getting progressively weaker, not stronger.
Ryan Bemro says he has a box of dead compact fluorescents he needs to send you. This adds a lot more questions to me.
I'll take them.
And why are you saving dead compact fluorescent bulbs? And I guess maybe in the Washington State area, they're
probably banned.
Things. Right. When you can't just throw those out. If you throw them out in your garbage, they probably put you in jail.
I could see that.
Like, you get your no.
Yeah.
I like the LEDs, although they do not last forever like they promise to.
They don't. They definitely don't. Yeah. Well, and they can't. They can't promise it because LEDs, they utilize a chemical. It's not phosphor anymore, but it used to be phosphor to have to convert the actual whatever light frequency was being generated to visible white light, because they're not generating white light. They're generating, I can't remember if it's infrared or ultraviolet. It's probably ultraviolet, is my guess, is what they're generating. And then that has to be converted, and it used to be with phosphorus. Now it's probably some other chemical, to visible light. And that process slowly eats up the phosphorus, or it eats up whatever the medium is for doing the frequency conversion. So they do eventually burn out, quote unquote. But the CF ones never do, because that is the natural color of the gas inside.
Just goes on forever.
Yeah. The only thing that you could lose in a CF bulb is the ballast. Like, that can eventually go out, but you can just replace those.
True, because you need the power. And that's with a lot of the LEDs.
And I'll tell you why I think I probably like them more than you and some other people, is because I used to have a lot of aquariums, and aquariums, both aquariums and reptile enclosures that use ultraviolet light tubes,
which give a similar vibe off.
Well, they look the same. It's just they have think of that as just a different gas inside to provide a different frequency of light, but it's basically the same process. And so I'm like used to looking at those types of bulbs, or trying not to look at them, because UV light directly in your eyeball is not a good thing.
Right, that can't be healthy. Just like, don't stare at the eclipse, kids. Do not stare.
Oh, I already bought glasses. I just got to remember to bring them.
Do not stare at the bulbs with these.
I got the eclipse glasses, so you can look directly at the sun.
That's why when I was looking for a space heater. A lot of people were espousing the greatness of the infrared, not ultraviolet, the infrared heaters.
Yep.
And when you start reading, like, well, it doesn't heat up the air; it just heats up what the light hits. I'm like, that seems weird. I mean, I get it, but it's like that would also be something that I don't.
Well,
think
it's a lot more efficient.
I don't think you'd want to look into that light emanating from it.
You can. It's not a big deal.
Like it's not the. It's infrared. It doesn't have any of the UV attached to it. I would guess that.
No, it's on the other side of the spectrum.
So you've got the concept being, well, it heats the same way the sun does. That doesn't really heat the air. It just heats things. And then that's how
Well, that's not quite true. The sun doesn't actually heat with infrared. It heats with ultraviolet, which is converted by the molecules in the atmosphere to infrared. And the infrared then bounces around the planet.
Which is why it's so damn cold when you get up 30, 40,000 feet. Because otherwise people would be like, well, why isn't it warmer closer to the sun? We don't understand.
I mean, there's multiple reasons for why it's colder up there. But yes, being closer to the surface where the gases are a lot more dense, it's a lot warmer. And that's not just true here. It's true of other planets like Venus, our future home, for example.
Ooh. We have an excursion going
I wasn't supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, Elon was very clear about not wanting to do that. I just thought the concept of having a heater that didn't heat the air, but it heats using waves, the people that are in it. Like, so is this kind of just like a human microwave?
No, I knew you were going to say that. No.
I mean, that's the first place anybody, I think, would go. Like, how are you heating up the molecules? And there's a big difference. I understand the microwaves are penetrating into where these do not. So it's a surface thing.
Yep. Exactly.
So a little less dangerous.
Yeah, microwaves basically work by sending radio waves at the frequency, the resonant frequency of water molecules. And what happens when you do that is the water molecules, but nothing else, or mostly nothing else, I should say, not absolutely everything, but it's really the resonant frequency of the water molecules that they work on. That's the basic principle. And when they get bombarded with all that energy, they start vibrating. And that vibration is what's generating the heat internally. That's why when you cook something in a microwave, it's hot inside, not just outside.
Well, that's why you need an air fryer.
Right. But like whether it's just a stove or an air fryer, it's heating it from the outside.
Yes.
And you have to cook it long enough for the middle to get warm to the temperature you want. With a microwave, it literally cooks it at the exact same temperature outside and inside.
I know. I was trying to figure out the exact proper way to cook and
it turns a lot of foods mushy.
Yeah, you don't like mushy. And that's what we got. It's been a while, probably like 3 or 4 years since I bought the Aldi calzones, which for what they are delicious.
Never had one.
Oh, they are. They're delicious. I mean, besides being the like pepperoni, or I think they do a sausage, which would be normal. They also had things like buffalo chicken. There's a few different things they make, but cooking it in the air fryer, there is an art then to understanding you can't cook it as high of a temperature because you're totally going to make the outside hard.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to go low and cook it a little bit longer instead.
Yeah, cooking any kind of breads in an air fryer, you have to limit your temperature under 400 degrees.
Otherwise, it's going to become a brick.
Yeah, it's gonna be turned brown and lose all its taste. Whereas on the other hand, if you're cooking meat, you can cook it up to 500 degrees.
It's the best way to do it. Higher the better.
Yeah, it'll sear it very nicely.
We bought a bunch of T-bones that were on sale for like $7.99 a pound at the local place.
Wow, that's super cheap.
And they're actually really good.
I think in Austin you could get just the bone part for that much.
Yeah, this is the reason why you should go get your meat somewhere else. I mean, I wasn't really expecting much, but the nice thing was They were also in the vacuum pack. So it wasn't like when you buy them at the grocery store, normally they're just in the little styrofoam thing and wrapped up.
Right.
And it's like, well, those aren't going to last a long time.
Right.
These lasted a few weeks, and even a week after the date, they're not changing color or anything because, well, it's vacuum packed. And our fridge is
or
cold.
just refrigerate them?
Refrigerate, but what do you keep your fridge at? Because I'm the kind of guy that keeps the refrigerator at like 34 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, just above freezing.
Because if it's too warm, and a lot of people think, oh, it should be around 40 or 45, it's like, no, I wanted things to last longer. Yeah. I don't want them to freeze. This is where you have to be careful because there are spots in the refrigerator that
are extra cold. Yeah.
My wife I bought around Christmas, the local Maillard had an Italian soda, which ended up being really good, but it was in a glass bottle, and just where she put it in the back of the refrigerator, it turned the whole thing to ice. I'm like, happy that the glass bottle didn't explode or anything.
Yeah, probably too much sugar for it to explode.
That would be probably the case.
Yeah, that's because I remember this very vividly from being in high school and living in Minnesota, and then leaving a 12-pack of Coca-Cola in the car in the winter.
Those will eventually explode.
They will absolutely explode, but the difference between the Diet Coke exploding and the full sugar Coke exploding is massive.
The diet's worse.
The diet's way worse, yeah. The full sugar Coke, if it explodes, it tends to be just kind of like a pop where it starts to drip into the container. Like it'll blow a seal and then start to drip out. The Diet Coke goes off like a bomb.
I want to try this.
Massive explosion.
Man, now this is something to do next
Well, it's
winter.
the same idea as the Mentos, right? You don't put Mentos into full sugar Coke. You put it into Diet Coke.
Does it really make a difference? I didn't realize
absolutely.
There was
Absolutely.
It's the reaction with whatever chemicals are in the diet soda.
It's not really even the reaction. It's just that the sugared version is saturated. It's a saturated solution. Almost, not quite, but there's a shit ton of sugar in there.
Yeah, Ned said he got an Italian soda 2 weeks ago, didn't realize it was sugar-free. You got to avoid the sugar-free stuff.
Yeah, they taste like shit if they're sugar-free.
That's not good. And Ned was on Bowls with Buds with Sir Spencer and Dame DeLorean. He's an ARP member? I mean, how cool is that?
ARP? You mean like he's old?
Yeah.
That's not cool at all, actually.
I did not know. It's like, then he was so proud to get your discount, the ARP discount.
No. Fuck that. First of all, ARP is an evil organization.
I know, they're commies.
Wing of the Democrat Party. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go with if you're going to go with one, it's the other. AMAC
AAA.
is better. Or AMAC, I guess, is kind of like ARP, but it's the conservative side.
Or the NRA.
Right. Aren't they?
Actually, these days, the NRA's kind of got a bad rep. A lot of the younger kids, the millennials and younger, don't like the NRA. They're all much more into the what's the other one? The American something firearms.
It's another. I don't know.
I'm a member of all of them.
Alternative.
Like I think I've got 4 different gun groups I'm a member of.
You got every card just in case. And
I have every card, and it's not just in every case, but I have every card. So there are 4 different lawsuits protecting me from enforcement of the ban on
firearms of all sorts.
No, the most recent thing that the ATF illegally did, the ban on the pistol braces. And as a member of 4 different lawsuits, I've got 4 different protections on that. So, yeah.
They're all giving you some kind of insurance.
Well, they all sue the government. I mean, that's the main thing, therefore.
And, of course, you're a member of the Texas Klan. So that really protects you from most things.
I am a member of the Texas Klan. That is a true story. In fact, my buddy that's in town here, he's a member of the Texas Klan. He just flew in.
Is there a big convention coming up?
What the
eclipse.
Yeah.
A lot of people going to be outside dressed in funny clothes.
I guess. I don't know. It's just, you got an eclipse coming up, so you gotta provide some lighting for the time when it's dark out.
Right. And you want to have something.
Texas Clan has decided to volunteer to go around and make sure that there's sufficient light during the eclipse.
And you have to use torches because it's really the only way to go. You don't want anything that's battery operated. That could be glitchy. You don't want to
when
do
the
that.
EMP goes off, all the battery operated stuff stops working. So torches are much better.
Yeah, they work really well.
Yeah.
And when it gets chilly, when the sun goes behind the moon, it'll help keep you warm.
Yeah. You should definitely have a torch and then have an appropriate hat for the eclipse, which the best, when you've got all that radiation coming down, the best hat you can have has very sharp pointy angle on it.
Yeah, that is true. It disperses the radiation.
That's the main reason.
Adam Curry did say you were bringing your night vision with, so you'll be the only one able to see what's going on.
It's kind of a mandate for all the Texas Clan members to have that. Yeah.
Now, am I the only person throughout my whole life who has never understood why people get excited about eclipses? Why? I want to know why people care that this is happening.
I think because it's kind of neat. I mean, and like you're going through essentially a night cycle in the matter of less than an hour.
But we understand why. Now, again, hundreds of years ago when people didn't understand what was going on, I get it. Yeah. But now that you realize and it's predicted and everybody knows exactly when it's going to happen.
It's a rare event, though. The next one won't happen for 80 years.
And we'll all be dead.
Well, some of you.
Some of us, right? It's like, I just never found them to be all that interesting or exciting.
I remember watching one when I was a kid, and it was pretty fun.
I mean, I will give you that the solar eclipses are a little bit more dynamic than, hey, watch the moon.
Yeah.
And wait, see, now it's less. And now who cares? I just never.
Did you ever read Mark Twain's book, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court?
I do not recall. If I did, it was like high school kind of reading.
It would have been probably high school if you read it. But in that book, the central character wakes up and he is in King Arthur's court. And, he seemed to have time traveled and this place traveled. And, of course, he's wearing the wrong clothes. His language is weird and he's clearly a witch.
Yes, he knows things.
And they're gonna, kill him because that's what you do with dark powers.
Yeah, this is what they were wont to do.
And he, amazingly, clearly had a hobby of these things, remembered that in the, whatever the year was that he ended up in, I don't remember what year he went back to in King Arthur's court. So it would have been around 1000 AD or so. Or CE, I guess is the proper term these days. And he somehow miraculously remembered that in that part of England, there was going to be a full eclipse on a particular day. And then he started leveraging that and saying, if you even try and harm me, I will blot out the sun. And sure enough, as they got to the murder ceremony for him,
which just happened to be right about the right time.
It just happened to be. And the sky started going dark. And, reading this as a kid, I thought, wow, see, this is the victory of science over, mythology or whatever.
Right.
As an adult, I'm like, that is so fucking contrived. There's no way in hell that could possibly have lined up because the eclipse doesn't happen for the whole fucking planet. It happens for a very narrow strip, the size of the shadow of the moon, which goes when it happens, and given the rotation of the Earth, and that this event is fairly rare. It's not like there's an eclipse once a month. That it would be extremely lucky for him to have landed in exactly that time period and that location, and even more lucky to have remembered the coordinates and time of an event from 1,000 years ago, or 800 years ago, let's say. But anyway, long time ago.
But a great story.
But it did turn out to be a good story because he basically, for the rest of the book, he is, quote unquote, inventing a lot of things that he maybe doesn't necessarily exactly know how to make, but he's used them in his real life.
Which all goes down the rabbit hole to prove that time travel is not possible, because if time travel was possible, somebody would have already gone back into the past and changed things.
Well, there is actually a easy explanation for that one. And that is that anytime that you go back to the past and do anything, including just being there, you're just creating a different timeline. So it doesn't actually conflict with the timeline you came from.
Oh, there's multiple timelines.
Yeah, you're just branching off. So there's really no it's like, let's say you go back in the past and you kill yourself. Well, that's okay. And you don't cease to exist as a result of that, unlike the Michael J. Fox thing in Back to the Future, because in Back to the Future, they assume there's a single timeline. In modern thought, both in TV movies, TV shows, movies, and which is now, I think, more common in the science community as well, is that we have no evidence that there's just a single timeline.
That's deep, man.
Okay. I was going to say not really, but I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is deep.
No Beret says, how do you know they didn't? Well, I'm just guessing. Because if future Gene has the ability to come back in time, his shower never breaks. He's got to take care of this first.
Well, that's not true. If my shower didn't break, I wouldn't be drinking all that caffeine and I wouldn't have a job with Elon Musk.
True. And you would have not been vibrating at just the right frequency to see the alternate timeline.
Exactly.
Like, whoa, it's a wasteland out there. That's what Joey did to America. What would have happened if Trump would have won? Come on.
So if I ask Elon Musk on X how many hours a week he plays video games and the number is the same as what I said.
If he has not answered that before, then I would find that to be impressive. Although I thought you were a little upset with Elon now that he gave Adam Curry that blue check mark, man. You were not happy about that.
Oh, I got rid of my blue check mark instantly.
It's still there. I see it.
Well, that's because it hasn't
expired yet.
But I canceled the subscription. Yeah, I mean, that's a total devaluation of the blue mark. I don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry having one of those. What's the point?
Well, if
they want to sell a different color one, I guess that'd be all right. But
the concept now was if you had 3,500 and it was verified.
Yeah.
Followers.
And this is the funny thing, right? So they're basically saying
number?
If you have 3,500 people following you who all paid to have the blue check mark,
you don't have to pay.
You get the blue one for free.
Right.
Well, guess what's going to happen? This is so going to backfire because I'm not the only one that's canceled. A lot of people are canceling. And so the people that just got their free check marks because they have the sufficient number. And I thought it was 2,500, not 35.
Well, you said 3,500, then somebody, and I didn't see if there was an official.
Yeah, the official post from Elon is it's 2,500 and you get the blue check mark, and it's 5,000. You get the check mark plus or the premium plus or whatever.
But it was verified. So it means, yes, only people that are paying matter.
Yeah.
This is really like the 3/5 clause, isn't it? Only people that matter are those who have paid.
And that part I'm okay with. I mean, like that totally makes sense. The problem is,
because you could fake the other one. You could create 10,000 accounts.
Yeah, nobody wants to be the one who's paying in order for others to not have to pay.
Right.
Like that's a normal human reaction to this, which I illustrated, which is, well, screw that. I'm not going to pay them. Why would I?
Well, now you're going to start unfollowing the people you really don't like that you're like, I don't want to be a part of you getting this.
Well, I don't follow people that I don't like in the first place.
Well, some people do.
I guess. But yeah, hate follow.
Well, yeah, because you want to see what they're up to. Like following all the liberals following Trump. Well, we got to see what he says, man.
So I think a lot of people that just got, now we're talking about people that have, between 5,000 and let's say 10,000 followers. People that have 1 million followers, they got a free one anyway, no matter what.
Yes.
But people that have 5,000, 10,000 followers, whatever, I think they're going to get a check mark for a month.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go away.
That is not a lot as far as the bar, because now I don't know the breakdown, but I've got 3,350 followers. So it's like, that's, if you're like, well, if you only have that many, I mean, I understand big difference followers and verified, but that's still a pretty low bar. It's like, that's something I feel I can hit. And it's like, if you're considering that I'm important enough to give a free access to, I can tell you you're wrong.
The whole point of that, then the reason I started paying for the blue check mark, right? Because it doesn't really get you anything. Let's face it.
Well, it does. The one thing it gets you is the ability to stream live, which we're doing here.
I guess. Yeah.
And on the last show I did live, which was a different podcast with Ryan Bemrose.
Yeah.
Somebody who had never heard the show, found the show, and was already a No Agenda fan. So well into the podcasting 2.0 thing. Sent like $16 worth of Satoshis during that show.
That's pretty good.
So right there, it paid for 2 months of Elon.
Yeah. So Ryan gets nothing and Elon gets 2 months. That's good.
Exactly.
So,
well, I mean, Ryan gets his I would say Ryan gets his Satoshis, but he has been Satoshi blocked for a while. So they're just kind of
doesn't he keep his Satoshis in the box in the basement?
Yes.
The light bulbs.
Exactly. Right by all of those non-working compact fluorescent bulbs. And so
which
we just
never stop working, so it's amazing he has non-working ones.
And he wouldn't get a Albi account, so I signed up for one for the show, and that's where his Satoshis are sitting.
I see.
I need to get one of those little Umbral boxes. Now, it looks like they came out with a new one. They're only $400. Yeah.
Maybe I'll get one too then.
And that would be a way to run your own Lightning node. Yeah. To run your own Bitcoin node. And I don't really need much of the cloud stuff because, well, I never leave the house. So I'm not I can
run one of those on my NAS, and I did that for a while. The problem is when the NAS crashed,
everything
made me reconsider running and actually keeping live money on a node.
Yes. Well, because you need some way to back it up. You need some way that if that does
you
go
need
down,
two NASs.
Kind of.
Running that shit.
You know, I know that although it's now 3 years old or so, I believe the QNAP NAS that I have, it'll run all the virtual machines, which I'm assuming would be fine for running this stuff. But for some reason, it feels safer.
That's what I was running. Yeah.
Having a box that would be dedicated to it. Although if that goes down.
Man, at this point, I think the only NAS I'm going to be buying moving forward is a solid state one, like a little small one with just plugs for the M2
card
storage. Yeah.
Those are amazing, but still very, very, very expensive.
They're getting down in price quite a bit.
Depending what kind of storage you need.
Yeah. But
because you still can't beat, what are we up hard drive wise, like 22 terabytes?
I think just over 20, yeah. But it's close. I mean, that's where it gets expensive. So they're relatively cheap through about 4 gigabytes. If you want to get 8 or 16 gigs, those are really getting up in price. But with a NAS, you could get 4 terabyte sticks. And that's 16 terabytes. I mean, right now I've got, I think, 32 terabytes in my hard disk one, and that uses 8 drives. So I probably should just pick one up and then shut this thing down and decommission it, because the cost of electricity savings would be offsetting the price of the device.
And I've been saying it for way too long. I really need to get a Backblaze account and back up all of my music there, because as long as you can access it, the Drobo, this was kind of where the Drobo was supposed to be the beauty, because as long as you can access it directly on your machine, it'll back it up, which means I can take all the music.
I know, that's what I was doing. I was backing up my Drobo to them as well. Yep.
It's like, that's going to be a lot of upload, but I guess
it took like 2 months to finish uploading.
That's hilarious. So for me, it would probably be a year for it to all the FLAC files.
No, it wouldn't be that. It'd be a few months. But
now the question is, when the hell is Xfinity finally going to update to the upload speed being the same as the download speed. They keep talking about it.
Oh.
It's in the pipe. I don't know how soon this is going to work out, but that's right now. It's like, yeah, sure. I got, 1,200 megabits per second down, but I got 40 up.
Ooh.
So that 40 up would kill.
That would kill you. That would take a year. You're right. Yeah. Because I've had a gig forever now, and you can get up to 5 gig here in Austin. I just have I don't know. I guess if money was growing on trees, I'd do it, but
right.
There's no.
Well, at 5 gig,
you could hardly ever saturate it.
Yeah. Well, 5 gig, hell, you could broadcast multiple 4K streams at I
could broadcast multiple 4K streams at 1 gig. I mean, they don't take that much. A 4K stream, like if I'm doing YouTube, I think is the only thing that accepts 4K streams right now. But if you're doing YouTube, that's like 20 megs per stream. Well, 20 megs, like 100 meg connection gives you 5 of those. A gig gives you 50. So an upload speed of a gig is way more streams than you could ever run in the house. The only time I ever saturate my network is if a new game comes out and I'm downloading it.
Oh, you got to download the new game. You got to download the mods. You got to download the good stuff. But Beret says the next time you don't
buy them in the stores anymore.
No Beret says the next time you see Elon, just have him hook me up with Starlink.
You're perfectly capable of doing that on your own. You don't need to go through me to Elon.
No, but he just have him comp me. So that would be good.
Yeah, Elon doesn't even comp Ukraine anymore. So
right. Well, move that satellite over Mokina and fuck Ukraine. I need some upload speeds.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Elon.
And they do have a pro version of Starlink now that does, I think, 300 megs or 400 megs.
Up or down?
Up and down.
That's pretty impressive for what, again, Comcast offers with this ancient technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get that you want to have a bit of a difference because most people, the way they use it are just streaming videos down. Most people aren't content creators. Most people aren't going up. You want to limit the amount of people that are using their home connections as a business connection.
Right.
Because once you have a gig up.
That is, I think, the only reason for it. Because if they think they can make more money by limiting home users and then charging businesses for business full speed uploads, they will do that, even if they have excess capacity.
Right. Because otherwise I'm punching in a few servers and I'm just streaming everything right out of here.
Yep.
And
I didn't realize your connection was so crappy. Well, that explains your voice.
Thank you. New cartoon just hit the X from CSB. Unrelentingly lazy. Thanks, CSB.
Ooh.
It's the unrelentingly lazy pod. And one is the guy with the beard saying, I have everything delivered to me because I work from home. And then the guy without the beard saying, me too, albeit I'm unemployed and wifey buys and delivers. Fuck you, CSB.
Wow. That's quite the slam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just play on the blind guy who can't drive. Although I did renew my driver's license.
Did you?
They sent it that I'm a safe driver. So I get another.
Yeah, you're a safe driver because you don't drive. That's good.
It's the best way to go.
Look, if my 80-something-year-old dad refuses to go up his driver's license, why should you?
Yeah, I'm sure I see better. I mean, I guess maybe I do, maybe I don't.
I mean, I think you may see better, but he has the exact same macular degeneration that you do.
Well, the macular degeneration I don't quite have yet, so it's not the central vision that's screwed up yet.
Mm-hmm. It's just the fuzziness around.
Just something to look forward to. Well,
I know he's blind in one eye now.
That's what I got.
Yeah. And his other eye, he's had a couple of surgeries on for replacing the lens, I guess.
Right. You have the cataract and then.
Whatever, all that crap. And so we got in an argument like a year ago when I was out there, and then we get out, we're going to go somewhere. And I said, all right, I'll drive. And he's like, no, that's all right. I'll drive. I'm like, well, I think I should drive because I'm here. So I might as well drive because, you drive when I'm not here, so let me drive. And he got mad at me because like, well, you don't think I can see, so you don't want to be in a car with me because you're afraid. I'm like,
yes.
Well, I mean,
that sums it up.
Why did you have to say it? I wasn't saying it out loud, but just let me goddamn drive.
Yeah, that's
so
the wife.
He got all mad at me.
When I get in the car and I want to drive, that's kind of her reaction. But the reality is, one, I wouldn't want to drive at night, but during the day when it is bright enough out, I see better outside than I do inside.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to the left eye is functional, but there's so many floaters,
right?
That you can.
Are you
work
eating
around
sufficient pineapple?
Yeah. Not only do I like eating pineapple,
you take it.
I go sometimes, if the pineapple's not fresh, and I do have one of them nice little pineapple cutter things where you go.
I do too. Yeah.
Those are so awesome. Such a simple device.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do take quercetin. I take the 4 pills a day, man.
Yep.
Got to keep up the bromelain and quercetin and
because all that stuff's supposed to clear out the floaters.
But I've had them since I was a kid because again the
Have
eyes
you
are
gotten your eye fluid switched out ever
no,
at all? No?
Not with that eye, because the problem with that is the chance of a retinal detachment when that's going on,
I suppose,
is not fun.
But I know I've seen this surgery on YouTube where they literally stick a needle in your eye, suck out the fluid, and then inject clean, new, fresh fluid.
Which would be a beautiful thing if there were no chances.
I guess there's a risk to it. Yeah.
Because that would take care of the floaters, because what floaters are just junk in your eye fluid.
Well, it's the reason everybody has floaters in their eyes, but healthy eyes have filters that at the, I think it's in the lower portion of the back of the eye that there's basically little holes that pull the fluid out, and then it goes through essentially a filter and then gets pushed back out on the upper side of the eyeball. And when those filters get clogged up, there's no means for the eye to filter out the dead cells. And that's all floaters are. It's just dead cells.
Yes. I mean, one of mine looks like a noose. I saw the thing as it was tearing away from the eye. It's a little larger than a lot of them. But what it comes down to is they, as I'm looking at CSB's beautiful artwork here, for people, the best way to describe them is they just look like slightly dark clouds moving through your field of vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're trying to read and one goes right in your center of vision, that's an issue. When you're outside and you have a much wider field of vision, it's much brighter, like when you're driving down the street, you notice it a lot less.
Yeah, it's not really a field of vision. It's the retina. Is when you're outside, you're looking through a pinhole effectively, because your iris is almost fully closed because there's so much light out. And when you're looking through a pinhole, the light is focused a lot more in the same plane, so you're not getting as much focal distortion, which means you don't see the floaters as much.
Now, we do have a few people to thank for it. I mean, now that CSB, we're talking about him here. He did have a Boostagram.
Yeah. And CSB is just at CSB on X.
Yeah, and that's what he wants. He's like, screw the Easter message because Easter's over. We didn't have a show last week, Good Friday. Yeah. And he says, follow me on Twitter. CSB. Just 3 fucking letters, he says.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I can't believe he managed to get 3 letters. I used to have 4 letters. Now I have like 15.
You were just Gene?
I was Gene N. Yeah.
And then they're like, no, you are.
Well, that's the account that got banned and then never reactivated. Yeah.
Have you not asked Elon in your dreams to see there? This is the test. Ask Elon in your dreams.
Elon doesn't run X anymore.
Yeah, but he's got people, I'm sure.
Well, he does have people, but whatever. I mean, I'm fine with the current account.
You mean Sir Gene TX?
Yeah.
Everybody should follow you and CSB. Now, CSB usually says he will give everybody 3 questions a day. Are you nice enough to give people an answer to 3 questions a day.
I won't even follow you back. But you should follow me because I provide the most interesting animal videos on X. I also post quite a bit of music videos on X. So the content that I have on my posts it's a lot more than just politics. I mean, we all do some politics, but I also do a lot of other stuff on X.
And if Gene gets over 3,500 verified followers, he will get a free premium account.
Good luck on that. I can't even get to fucking 500 followers.
Our buddy Weenie Wawa came in with $10.80. That's a monthly donation. He said,
Nice.
I will gladly give you a monthly donation. Just never attach my real name to this aberration that is the Unrelenting Podcast.
Thanks, John Anderson. That is great of you to be able to do that.
Our buddy Kevin Seifert coming in with a monthly $5. It's appreciated. This is a value for value show. I know we don't really push it a whole lot because it is the show about nothing and the show about everything. But if you like it, if you enjoy it and you want it to stick around for the long haul, whatever that means. Or
even if you don't, I don't know why you're limiting it to only people that like it.
If you hate the show and you want us to go away, let us know by sending in a donation of $34.95. And we'll know that means you don't want more episodes of
Honestly, I think we'll take money to skip episodes. So if you really want us to skip an episode and not do one, a sufficient enough amount of money will take care of that.
Ooh, that's an interesting concept.
Isn't it?
Like $500 and then we skip a week. $1,000 we skip 2 weeks.
Yeah.
$50,000 we pretty much take a year off.
Pretty much.
I mean, we just rename the podcast and come in as something totally different.
Well, I might have to have you on as a guest on Sir Gene Speaks Again.
Yeah, and you need to have Bemrose back on because he's been commenting that he loves listening to you talk about things that you have no idea what you're talking about because you have so much confidence when talking about them.
Yes. Well, that's great. I always appreciate people that think they know what they're talking about telling me I don't.
Anonymous just came in with 3333 and says, more light bulb talk.
Wow. See, look at that, Bemrose. Light bulb talk gets money.
Illuminating.
Ooh.
Unrelenting.show is where you want to go to find out all the information. And follow Gene on X, follow me on X, where we've been doing these shows live. And
what's your X name?
My full name, Darren O'Neill, DARRENONEILL. Which
you made it easy for people to find.
Nice and pithy. I mean, I had the Irish boxer trying to get it from me, and I was like, nope, not giving it up.
Oh, really? For how much?
He didn't offer anything. I mean, if there was
cheapskate. Well,
he
I'm sorry. You already said Irish, so what am I thinking?
Yeah, he was in the Olympics that he wanted to because his is with just one L, even though he spells it in reality with 2 L's, but that's just.
He just did his with 1 L so that he would get all your people that screw up your name?
Kind of. And it was the other way around because when he was in the Olympics, I mean, I was a nice guy. I mean, it wasn't a horrible amount, but when people would be like tagging me like, oh, good luck in the match. And I'm just like, I think you mean this guy.
Oh, he could just subscribe to you and then read your, what people send to you as well. That's not hard to do.
That way, if anybody accidentally brings it into his name into mine. I had a guy again, and I just sent back, take me off your mailing list rather than cancel the guy's appointment. But somebody in the UK, Darren.O'Neill, that, again, because dots mean nothing.
Right.
Using Darren O'Neill at Gmail, which is my email address. So, has an appointment in like a month to get new tires or something. I was very, very tempted to be like, no, just cancel that. I've decided against it. I did that to the one guy who ordered from Temu. And for whatever reason, since you ordered once, they had you could just one click. Obviously, they turned on the one click. So I ordered like 4 different items. And
that's great.
Very quickly decided to. And it was great because they were still sending me the support emails, even with his. Hold
on. You saying that Temu let you click on a link in an email and then order without logging in?
Well, no, because it was my email address, so I reset the password.
Oh, my God. Okay, so you fuck with the guy.
Yes.
Got it.
Right, because it was happening a lot. It was happening a lot. And it's not. The funny thing is, I know my name's not exactly John Smith, but it's common enough that I've
Darren
had.
O'Neill?
Yeah, Darren O'Neill. I've had Darren O'Neill's in Canada, Ireland, the UK, and Australia using my email.
Yeah, that's
like,
hilarious.
what the fuck is with Darren O'Neill's that they don't know their email address? I mean, really, how do you fuck that up?
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know if they're just like, well, I don't have an email address, so I know there's a Gmail, so I'll just say.
Yeah.
Like, but they're going to send you, I get like tax information.
Oh my God.
It's like, and the ones that are the most annoying, there was like O2, there were people that had phone accounts. One of them finally got smart enough to where you couldn't reset the password without having some other information. Because if you could reset the password with the email address.
Clearly, that's something you do on a regular basis.
It's fun. I always do it, of course, through a VPN, so nobody can prove anything to anybody.
It's like, who is this guy in Vietnam that keeps resetting my password?
Exactly. And ordering things.
Yeah.
And it was weird. It wasn't expensive stuff, but it was very weird stuff. I forget what I even ordered for him. But it was a lot of fun just to see the emails back and forth. And then he canceled his credit card, which I thought was hilarious because I never had access to his credit card. But knowing I made the guy cancel his credit card
was hilarious.
He
thought you were stealing his identity, you fake Darren O'Neill.
Right. Like, no, you're appropriating my email address. And then still didn't understand. And his email address, I found out then was like Darren O'Neill 1227 or something like that.
Jesus.
So it's like, but then how do you forget that when you're entering that into,
right.
I know maybe they're 80 years old and then I'd feel bad, that they're just old and don't know what they're doing.
Would.
No, I'd still be an asshole.
Yeah.
It's more fun that way, I think. And it's just because it's annoying. And it's like,
it is.
All of these companies, and there seems to be a lot of them still, which is surprising in this day and age, that will let you do things with an email address without verification, because that would be the simplest thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you have an account, you have to verify before using, but if they're going to allow you to attach your credit card to a fucking account without verifying the email, then you all deserve what you get. Maybe I just have a bad attitude. I'll ask CSB. He'll know. My wife will pick it up for me.
So I was at a meetup, No Agenda meetup in Houston a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, are those still going on?
Yeah. And they have multiple ones in Houston, in fact, I think.
I thought No Agenda was like totally shutting down, I heard. Was that not right?
I think it did. I don't know. I got kicked off of there, so I wouldn't even know. But on my way back to
from the Houston meetup.
From the Houston meetup, I drove by a sign that says 33 1/3. And I thought, well, this is an interesting sign. I just sent it to you. Because that's a magic number.
Well, and the 33 is circled. 34th. Well, no, that would be 3-4. Well, what is at 34th? It wouldn't 34th be 33 and then 1/4? A fourth? I'm so confused. Are we reading too much into this?
You may be. You're doing numerology all of a sudden.
Well, isn't that what?
I just thought it was
a big
neat
sign that just says 33 1/3 at 34th.
I just thought it was a neat sign, literally like a mile down the road heading home from the Houston meetup.
Almost like it was planned.
Well, almost like it was a magic number.
It would be better if it was just a big board that just said 33.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is 34th? Am I going to be disappointed with whatever this is?
I don't know. I have no idea what it is. It's a sign.
Yeah, but it says at 34th, which I'm assuming is a X account, because does anybody really use that for anything else? Let's see. Is there anybody?
Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, I guess. Because the other one has only 2 followers. So at 34th on Elon's is nothing. So what is at 34th?
I don't know. I just drove by and took a picture of a sign. That's all I did, man.
In the middle of the desert.
You're doing a whole in the middle of the Houston desert. Yes.
Who are you? What is this all about?
I just think you're jumping into the numerology hole.
Oh, there's a Facebook page with that logo. Okay.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hat tip to El Arroyo. What is it? It is a place for community to come together and experience dining and retail services in one of the great neighborhoods in Houston. It's a Houston neighborhood.
Okay.
Or it's an ice cream shop.
Apparently, I drove through there.
Yeah, you're like, what's this all about? I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's a neighborhood, I guess. 33 1/3. There's a neighborhood in Houston. Okay, all the no agenda people need to
move there.
You need to relocate. This is your new home. That is interesting.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
I mean, they're not great when it's a Facebook thing and they're at the 34th. I don't know how many people are looking at. Usually that is when I see at any name, I assume that's Elon's company, the Twitters, the X's.
I think most people do, yeah.
So when this is just some random dude with 2 followers, now it would be even funnier. You think I get pissed off if that was an active Twitter account. People would be like, "What the fuck are the signs about, man? I see your signs everywhere."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it doesn't mean nothing.
Uh-huh.
Stop reading billboards. Keep your eyes on the road.
I just think it's great when billboards have no clarity whatsoever. It's just like cryptic stuff.
Yeah. You're like, what does this mean? And people just sit there and think about that for a long time,
I
guess.
I think I did a pretty good job taking that picture at like 60 miles an hour.
Was it a dash cam or you're doing this?
No, it's me grabbing my iPhone and taking a picture.
Doing that while driving. That is not recommended.
No?
Not unless you have full... Well, do you have a full self-driving vehicle thanks to Elon?
No, God, no.
You're like, no, Elon told me all about those.
I have a knee to hold the steering wheel.
That's always the way I've done it. That's the beauty of being 6'6". You have that built right in.
Yeah.
And if you, with enough practice, you can do enough steering too with the leg without...
on the highway, not on normal streets.
Well, yeah, you're not going to make a 90-degree turn or anything.
You're not. Unless your leg does something unusual.
Yes. I mean, if you have a prosthetic leg, maybe. Maybe you can do that.
Or you have one of those prosthetic arms that can turn your wrist 360 degrees.
More fun that way.
Yeah, definitely. That's called an advantage at that point.
Did you see the article? I saw this morning and it just pissed me off. And I mean, this guy, I know I've seen him because he's a weird looking dude. Joseph Gatt, he's an actor, was in Game of Thrones. And
well, who did he play?
Oh, I don't know if it even says here. He's a bizarre looking. He's playing a Then Warg in Game of Thrones season 4, as well as a villain called the Albino in the 2014 crime thriller series.
Oh yeah,
Banshee.
He played the terrorist dude in that Netflix show about the serial killer guy.
I know I've seen him. He's very recognizable.
Yeah, isn't he a pedophile or something?
Well, that was it. This is what he was arrested for, and it turns out the whole thing was bullshit. That the story is just bizarre. That it's like, okay, there was some 16-year-old girl whose sister's boyfriend got her a cameo of this dude. Because, you know, when you're a low B actor, for $50, you'll do messages like, "Hey, how you doing? Happy birthday."
Right.
So he sent her a cameo, and I guess she had a nude photo of him from some movie as her lock screen on her phone.
Nice.
Which, again, parents, you might want to know what your kids are doing on the phone. But I guess she had somehow, whether there's an app, I guess there are apps to do this, generated fake conversations in an app and made it look like she was communicating with this guy. The sister took a photo on her phone of the 16-year-old with the messages on it, gave that to the Los Angeles police, and they arrested him. Never talked to the 16-year-old.
Yeah.
When this finally came down to doing the investigation, and they're like, oh, well, this was completely false. The guy was already fucked.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't think anyone was ever going to hire him again.
Probably not. So he's suing the Los Angeles DA and he's suing the Los Angeles police for $40 million, which I think he should get.
Yeah, because he'll never work again.
And it's like, you didn't investigate this? I mean, how do you not investigate? And also calling somebody a pedophile when the girl is 16. Do we still have to have that argument?
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
It's idiotic.
It is.
It is absolutely idiotic. But in this case, I mean, somebody creates, in today's world, especially with all of the deep fake technology, I downloaded a thing from one of the torrent sites of some company that put out and there's a bunch of these online, the face swap technology.
Yeah.
It is very, very realistic now.
Mm-hmm.
So this concept that you can believe anything you see, especially when it comes to these text messages, it's like, what, you didn't even like look at his phone. You didn't look at her phone. You didn't try to make sure that this actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how you get arrested based upon a picture of something off of somebody's phone.
Well, that's exactly how you get arrested.
That's the new way.
Well, no, it's generally been the way because they arrest you and then they figure out exactly what happened.
And then you do the rather than investigating and then figuring out you did it and then arresting you.
Yeah.
It's now arrest and then see if it actually happened.
Well, it's always been that. I don't think it's a new thing. It depends on the crime, obviously, but any kind of crime that is considered a heinous act, like murder or pedophilia, they've historically arrested people first and done the investigation afterwards because you need to ensure that you stop the possibility, in case it's true, of anything happening.
His lawyers told Business Insider, quote, 20 months later, when the fabricated evidence was finally disclosed to Mr. Gatt and his forensic expert were prepared to expose the truth in open court, the Los Angeles DA voluntarily dismissed the criminal complaint.
Yeah.
End quote. But this just shows, and this guy is a B-level actor. He may as well be a podcaster like you and I.
He probably has a podcast.
One person wants to get you.
Yeah.
And creates a conversation on their phone that looks like it's you and them, and you're saying things that you shouldn't be. Doesn't matter if you did anything or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is why this country was built upon the fact of you are innocent until proven guilty. It's because people freaking lie.
Yeah, but the police arrest innocent people all day long.
Of course. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes because of lack of resources, sometimes because they're just not
if you just
trained.
Put his name into a search engine, the whole first page of links is all about him being a pedophile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll never work again.
And this is another part of the internet culture is the search engines aren't going to bury this. They're not going to go away. People are not going to remember. For everybody that heard this story, including you, where it's like, oh, yeah, the guy's a pedophile.
Yeah.
How many are going to hear now that it was totally made up and the story behind it was...
Nobody. I mean, I can't believe you're talking about it.
Well, it's because it popped up on one of my news feeds, and I'm like, damn, this is yet again a reason why the internet is freaking evil. And it's not just the internet. It's just the fact that people are not understanding, I guess, why there's a process, why you're innocent until proven guilty. This has changed with social media. This has changed with the cancel culture. This is somebody makes an accusation and now you're guilty.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He got arrested.
Yeah. So this has been going on for everybody that heard this. I didn't hear it 2 years ago because I didn't ever watch Game of Thrones. That's another one of the shows that I've actually never seen.
You never watched Game of Thrones?
No, unlike Community, which I've seen a few times. I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. That is the truth. Maybe it's on my list, I think. Was it good? I don't know.
It is epic.
It's epic. Okay.
But the last two seasons, and especially the last season, were complete, utter garbage.
They were.
So you can stop watching it 2 seasons early and you won't really miss anything.
Be like, it's done. They were just kind of phoning.
Well, what happened was, the original series is based on books by George R.R. Martin.
They ran out of the storyline.
Yeah, they finished his last book, and he was supposed to have written the next book by the time they got there, and he didn't. And so instead of canceling the show, they just decided to write it themselves.
That's not a good idea.
So the 2 producers of the show ended up writing it, and it was god awful.
Are you familiar with a show called Episodes with Matt LeBlanc?
Yeah, I love that show. It's great.
I was not familiar with the show.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I downloaded it. And
of course you did.
Of course. Well, this is how you watch television these days, allegedly.
Not how I watch it, but okay.
It is. It's absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
For people that don't like Matt LeBlanc, you will find this show hilarious, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Because he plays himself, a version of himself.
Uh-huh.
And the 2 main characters are these British writers, show writers, that, especially the wife, completely hates Matt.
Yes.
And thinks he's a horrible actor and he's shallow and he's a womanizer, blah, 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 blah. Typical liberal writers. And then in the interactions, they both, and first the guy and eventually the female writer as well, start to become friends and start hanging out with him. I actually really like the female character there, not the writer chick, but the producer chick.
And what else was she in?
The one that became a lesbian to get ahead in life.
I'm only on, I just finished season 2, but.
I don't want to spoil it for you. Yeah.
I've seen her in a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm,
and she is hilarious.
She is funny. Yeah.
And it's just very well written, which of course it had to be 10 years ago because you can't write these kind of shows now.
No.
But
it's a very meta show. It's a well-written comedy about a BBC comedy writer who can't get work and decides to go to America.
Yes. Well, that's the whole thing. There's a BBC show that they're like, oh, we want to make that in the United States. And then they totally change.
Yeah. It's just like The Office.
Everything
around.
Hey,
we want to just, we love it. We love your show and we want to bring it to America and we'll pay you $100 million. How do you refuse that?
You don't. You go, thank you very much.
And then as soon as you get there, there's some things the American audiences just won't understand. So we've taken the liberty of rewriting your show. So here, give us any notes you might have. And it's literally written by somebody who'd never seen or read the British show.
Yes, it's totally, instead of like a British, higher learning prep school principal type, 70 years
football
old.
Coach.
Right. Now it's a hockey coach that's Matt LeBlanc. So, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it is a very well done show. It's one of a whole series of these sort of small, cheap productions that were done that were on, what is that channel? It's not Showtime. It's not the movie channel.
You don't mean HBO.
Showcase. I think Showcase or something like that. It was one of those like minor cable channels that you always got as a package bundle that was never available by itself kind of thing. And it was funny. There's another show that was on the same channel about a woman who is a psychologist or psychiatrist, one or the other, to Hollywood stars. And again, another super low budget, but hilariously written, funny show that had a bunch of guest stars coming in because it's basically these Hollywood actors playing themselves coming in to see a shrink, and she's the shrink in Hollywood. If somebody remembers what the name of that show was, it was very funny. And there was a super disturbing, large photo of a baby crying in her office. It was like, first of all, why would you have a photo of a baby crying in the first place? And then why do you have one that is 6 feet tall?
That's a little disturbing.
It's literally like, if you didn't need a shrink, you see this photo, you may need a shrink kind of thing. But she had some really fun guests, and she had a lot of very quirky kind of, like she lived in a hotel because it's more convenient rather than having a house.
Well, of course it would be.
It is. I could totally appreciate that. I lived in the Marriott in Frisco for 6 months. It was some of the best experience of my life right before the divorce.
Oh,
so there's nothing like living in a hotel. There's somebody to do everything for you. They cook your meals. They change your sheets twice a day. They come and put a little candy on the pillow for you. You've got all kinds of great food.
What kind of special package do you have where they change your sheets twice a day?
The kind of package where you live at the hotel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In
a suite out there.
Kathleen Rose Perkins is the one that is the woman you're talking about from the.
Is she? Let me look her up.
From episodes, and really she's been in so many different things, none as that really made a splash.
Oh, that's not the woman I was thinking of, but she's pretty good as well. Yeah, you're thinking of the oh no, that is the woman I was talking about. No, you're right. I was actually thinking of a different woman. I was thinking of the other lesbian that she's lesbian with.
You're always thinking of different lesbians.
I am. I have to admit that. I am. I think about lesbians a lot.
But I was glad to run into this show because it was just on a lark, and I'm like, wow, this is actually good. This is actually good.
Yeah. What was the other chick's name? Because she's also really fucking funny.
I don't think I've run into it yet in the show. So,
have you run into this chick?
Well, yeah, she's in almost every episode.
Yeah, it's called Episodes, I think.
You're right. That's the show.
And the British people are pretty ugly, which is typical for British people.
Yeah, the white, just purely in producer mode, not
like she's makes you almost want to be gay or something when you look at her.
You're like, I would just walk right on by.
I just like so unattractive with the short haircut and the mannish features. It's just like, oh my God.
Now the what's it, Marcia Monroe, the blonde that played the, and it's funny because they're like, oh, she's playing a really old actress. Yeah, Morning.
Yeah.
I was just looking, I'm like, how old is she? She was born in 1982, so she's not so she's like 30 in that show, and they're
that shows, yeah, that was like 10 years ago. Yeah.
She was always good. Oh, I didn't know she was in The Rookie now. Wow, must have come into that one episodes, but she was in that other show with
I was thinking of Andrea Savage is who I was thinking of. She's funny.
Morning was also in Heart of Dixie in 25 episodes. Rachel Bilson, always thought she was hot. Don't know why.
Who's Rachel Bilson?
Exactly, an actress.
Don't know who that is.
Heart of Dixie. One Tree Hill. No, not One Tree Hill. She was in the other one. That was at the same time as One Tree Hill. The OC. You know, that those teenage dramedies.
Isn't that who I end up flying with in the plane or something?
No, that was a reality star.
The Hills, yes.
Yeah, The Hills.
Same thing.
Pfeiffer says his ex-wife tried to make him watch Heart of Dixie. Fucking sucked.
Did it? Yeah.
Sir Bemrose accurately describes the show. Come to Unrelenting to listen to two people read IMDb pages live.
That's what we do.
I mean, nobody said it wasn't a concept show.
Okay, I'm confused. So go to the IMDb page for Episodes.
Okay.
The main page for it. Click on where you see top cast, right?
Right.
Scroll down where you see top. Last place on the right side in top cast is Lori Paul Calvert.
Carol's assistant.
Now click on the photo.
But it's a guy.
Named Lori.
Could you be it? Well, Lori, I guess, could be.
No.
Do they go trans?
I mean, is that his dead name then, or what's the deal?
It just says alternative name Lori. I mean, Lori could. I mean, anybody can name their kid
1990
anything
in Manchester, England. So
I mean, there are females named Darren. There are men named Kim.
No, neither one of those. Definitely not.
They don't exist.
No. No.
If you do have one of those names, and you can just let us know by donating.
Yeah, donate $1,333 if your name is Lori and you're not a woman.
Lori would be one that I haven't heard before, so I'll give you that one as far as a male name.
Yeah, I mean, there's Hugh Laurie, but that's a last name, not a first name. This is a first name Lori. I think it's supposed to be a chick.
When you go to another one, the movie site, it's just like, we don't have a biography. Well, no kidding.
Uh-huh.
It does say gender male. Born in 1990, it says, so 33 years old. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Amazing.
I mean,
now click on Andrea Savage.
I hope everybody following along at home is doing the same.
Yeah, if you're on the IMDb website, search for Andrea Savage. Savage, I don't know.
Savage, yeah, it's American. Savage.
She is genuinely funny. She's been in a number of shows, including episodes.
Step Brothers.
She's been in Weep. She's been in I'm Sorry. And she's also been on Larry David.
Oh, so you'd like her because she's in Hulu's reality TV parody, The Hot Wives.
Oh, yeah, she's in that, too. I watched that as well, yeah. Hulu has nothing to do with this. This was also on that channel before that you get bundled in without wanting.
She voiced a character in Bob's Burgers once.
She's done a lot of stuff once.
Oh, yeah.
She was in 20 episodes of I'm Sorry, and she was in 13 episodes of Episodes.
Which Episodes is delightful. I want to see where people can watch that show.
Well, watch I'm Sorry next after you get done with this. That's her other show.
She was always also in Sweet Valley High. That sounds like something you'd be into. Suddenly Susan.
Uh-huh.
Significant Others.
She's been a bit actress for a long time.
Which is the way to go if you want to have a long career.
She was in one episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch in 97.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
You should watch Heart of Dixie, Pfeiffer. You will love it.
You should watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You will love it.
Really? Now, that was one that I've never seen.
No. Well, I mean,
and Buffy, although Buffy, I think, is a little more.
Please.
What? No or yes for Buffy?
Of course, yes.
Of course,
Jesus Christ, are you kidding?
No,
How
I'm not.
could you not love Buffy?
Because I've never seen Buffy.
Oh, my God. It's got the best writing, the best characters, okay acting. It's Buffy was great. I really enjoyed Buffy.
The folks over at the Episodes are available to stream at Fubo. They're able to stream on Paramount Plus, Showtime, and you can buy at Apple TV, Amazon, or Google.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I like to just sample by
downloading. Sample by, free by.
I like free. Free's the way to go.
There's some websites out there that seem to they cut out the whole downloading portion.
Yeah, just let you watch.
And they just let you watch a torrent file.
Yes.
In real time.
Yes. There are some of those on the torrent site I like, Torrent Galaxy.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but I think they have to be well enough seated for it to start doing it is like magic though, when you realize what it's doing.
Yeah, you're grabbing bits and pieces from a bunch of different people and it's playing back in real time.
Like, you don't have to keep it on my hard drive. Nope.
Yep. Exactly. So it's like a in the cloud for pirates.
Now, Cottongen says Firefly was better than Buffy. I did see Firefly.
Firefly was very good. Firefly was very good, but
way too short.
Yeah, way too short. I mean, that's the thing is saying it was better than Buffy. It was it was like 10 years after he started doing Buffy. So it was a much more mature production. He knew what he was doing a lot more. But most people assume Buffy is just a 4 kids, teenage, high school, something.
Right. Well, that's always the way it seemed to be advertised.
But it had Allison Hannigan in it.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And this one time at band camp, I put a flute in my.
You're just waiting for that ISO. People have the AI; they can finish that ISO off.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can watch a Buffy on Hulu, so that's easy enough.
Yeah, and I've always liked Allison Hannigan. She was in that. She was in How I Met My Mother or Your Mother.
Yes, see that I really enjoyed. I watched that a few times as well. The great comedy show.
But also I think mainly because of a couple of actors or the characters at least that they played. The Barney character was really good.
Yes.
And then the character that Allison Hannigan played was really good. Lily. Because Lily was like this sweet looking kind of girl who's super sexual.
Yeah, she was the dirty one in the group.
She was the totally dirty one. I mean, that's what made it just work so well, is because you don't expect those words coming out of her mouth. Her husband, I thought the guy wasn't very good, not particularly good actor.
Marshall?
Yeah, Marshall. He's kind of an idiot. Kind of played this tall, dumb, kind of idiot guy from Chicago or something.
He's made a lot of money at it. Well, he was from Minnesota, eh?
Yeah, exactly. One of them big Midwestern boys.
Then you had the main character who just could never find love.
In Chasing, what was that
Robin
movie called? What?
The character was Robin, the one that, spoilers, he got with it.
The Canadian chick? No, yeah. I'm not talking about that. No, I'm talking about the Minnesota dude. He was also in the movie called like Finding Sarah Marshall or Looking for Sarah Marshall or something.
Right.
Where he played himself, where his girlfriend dumped him, and then he ended up deciding to go to where she was on vacation with her new boyfriend and thought that he could win her back.
Didn't he go like full dong out in that movie?
Yeah, he did.
That was just
unnecessary.
Yes.
And
although in the episodes, the Matt LeBlanc penis really has a big role.
It does. Well, he was definitely a big penis. Speaking of shows, because that's what we talk about on this show, I really enjoyed the other guy from Friends, Matt Perry. Matt Perry? No, what's the guy's first name?
The one that died, Matthew Perry?
The one that died, yeah. So he was on the bitch in apartment
2B.
2B, yeah. I was going to say
Dawson.
23.
Dawson was on that one. James Vanderbeek.
Yeah, Vanderbeek. Didn't he just die?
No, that was the guy from Friends.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm thinking of this guy.
James Vanderbeek.
He was hilarious playing a version of himself as well.
Yeah, because he played a total asshole, which I think he just really enjoyed.
I think all these guys actually are in real life, so it's really easy for them to get in character and really just ramp it up because it's the first time no one's going to be talking behind their backs about how much of an asshole they are because hey, I'm playing a character.
Yes, it's not really me.
But I really, really like the chick, the main character in Apartment 2B.
Oh, the weird looking one.
No, the hot looking one.
The blonde.
No, not the blonde. No, the blonde is frumpy looking.
No, but no, I didn't.
I'm talking about the tall chick with the jet black hair.
Yeah, the weird looking one.
She's not weird at all. No, she's hot, man. God, what is her name?
Oh, I know.
She's been in a bunch of stuff. She was also a superhero.
Kristen Ritter.
Yeah, Kristen Ritter. So she was super hot until she got pregnant, and she's no longer hot. But she was, for a long time, for a good decade, she was uber hot.
What do you say, trolls? Vote on X if you're listening to this pre-recorded. Kristen Ritter, hot or not? Gene will create a poll, and we'll see.
Absolutely hot. But you don't know how to create polls?
I do. I just figured you want people to follow you. So, I can do it.
If I create it, there'll be like 5 people that see it.
Answer.
So,
James Vanderbeek credited as James Vanderbeek.
Yeah, that's the guy. Vanderbilt.
So if you watch Dawson's Creek, did you see that back when it was on?
No.
Didn't want to see
that's for kids.
Young Joey Potter, young Mrs. Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes.
Yeah, she used to be hot before she got married.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have that age range that you go with.
What are you getting at?
There's like about 4 years somewhere that you're like, okay, that's acceptable.
Between legal and no longer hot, there's the hot range.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or between not legal, I should say, and no longer hot. Although I did send you a photo of somebody who I think is still hot.
And who 44. Was that? Yeah, you said 44.
Yeah. Adrian Curry.
Oh, right. You keep talking about her. It's
the other Curry, the one that's actually hot.
Wow. That is just uncalled for.
Really? Why, you think Adam's hot?
No, but he's probably listening right now, and he's like,
Adam literally never listens to this show.
He's like, Gene doesn't think I'm hot, so now what? Now you're probably uninvited for for Monday.
Okay, because I was only invited because I would have thought he was hot. Okay, got it.
Or you're bringing the night vision goggles and copious amounts of wine.
I am bringing night vision, but also thermals.
Now, when everything gets pitch black, is that we're going to start shooting off rounds and out in the wilderness?
No, we're going to start shooting off rounds way before then.
Be like, woohoo!
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a good old fun time.
Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 2-3. That was a funny show.
2-3 or 2B?
2-3, it says.
So I was right. Because I was thinking it was 2-3, not 2B, and you said 2B. I was like, well, maybe. I don't know.
Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 2-3. Well, maybe the other way, they have to rhyme and not be the same. I guess
you were thinking Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 2B.
Could be.
And it's actually Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, yeah.
They had to censor that.
But Kristen Ritter, I think, did a great job playing herself as well on that show, where she was just like, this ex-model chick that just partied in New York all the time.
Just self-obsessed.
Just a party girl.
And the little roommate, Driama Walker. See, that's a little doe-eyed. I thought you liked the doe-eyed.
Dude, Iowa is filled with those girls.
Let's go to Iowa. Fuck Texas for the eclipse. Let's go to Iowa, baby.
Yeah. No,
they're winning the female NCAA that are in the Final Four, man.
Who is?
Iowa.
I asked a question on X the other day. Is there even women's basketball? Because I don't think there is.
I guess there is.
I don't think so.
I don't watch it, but a lot of people have.
I don't think it exists.
Because this girl from Iowa, and I don't remember her name, Caitlin.
Dreamer Walker.
No, the one that's just broke like the NCAA scoring record for women or men.
So she got 50.
She got her for a career. She's got like thousands. She beat Clyde Drexler.
Okay, career in a
NCAA.
Air quotes. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, NCAA. But they said the tickets for the Final Four with Iowa in it for the female, going for like $2,000.
No, they're not.
That's what they say.
No,
I don't necessarily believe it.
They're definitely not. No. You're gonna watch it. Well, not that you would, but if you were to watch it, you will see empty seats.
Be like, what's going on? We thought everybody was excited, man. They want to see.
No,
they want to see Iowa. It's still
no one likes watching amateur sports.
The college men's tournament is big.
Oh, that's professional.
Well, they are getting paid now. I know that
should be.
Been a change.
They always should have been.
As is this girl getting her sponsorships, but it's like, you can, and that's the interesting thing. It's like you can be the best, but because you're a chick, you're not going to get paid anywhere near as well.
No, you're not going to get paid anywhere near as well because compared to men, you're not anywhere near the best. You're pretty crappy.
She's not going to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, you remember that whole thing where Serena Williams got beat by like a high schooler?
Because it was like, I could beat any guy. I'm great.
Like a guy with no rating right out of high school beat her in tennis.
It's like, that is, I was not aware of that because I don't really follow tennis, but that would be an interesting matchup.
She's considered the greatest female tennis player ever. Although I would still call Martina Navratilova that.
Well, this is the same thing with the swimming and all that, where it's like, well, guys who would be like 500th.
Yeah, like mediocre guys beat the best women routinely. That's why I think women's sports were invented in the first place, is to allow women an opportunity to actually win something.
Before they get into the kitchen and start making you a sandwich?
There was a book that I retweeted on X yesterday called "How to Get Your Wife to Do Things for You," or something like that.
Oh,
put on your slippers, give you a back rub, make sure she's waiting for you at the door with nothing on but heels.
I'm looking this up. This sounds like good information.
It's a good book. You should click on the link and buy it.
Is it written by?
Maybe.
I'm going to get a little percentage here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is my birthday on Monday, the day of the eclipse.
Look at that. You might as well drop the birthday preemptively to get some donations coming in.
Yeah. Come on, everybody. Donate for
Darren
next
will
week.
be 54. 49.
Yeah, 54.
4013.
So go with $54. That's okay. Yeah. Or if you're a cheap ass motherfucker, you can go with $48.70.
What's $48.70? Why is that $48.70? You should go with $54.
I would agree. But birthday would be April 8th, 1970. So 4870. If you're sending in Satoshi CSB, make it a multiple of 54,000.
Well, that's wishful thinking.